Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. A very quick one I want to tell us, those of us who are on our systems and to work on your strategy of making money, right? On the U trading boat. Now, this is a very simple thing so that some of you who probably don't even know what to do in the market and all of that. Okay, so I just want to take us through, right, one or two things on the market. Either you have received a signal or not. Right. And so what we do very basically is that, okay, let's say I'm going to take a signal, right? And so let's say I'm using SUI as an example. Quite unfortunately, when I'm doing this, SUI has already moved, but I'm still going to use it as an example. Now, ordinarily, if it's the beginning of the week, I always want to use daily candle to see the market direction or bias of the market for the week, perhaps. Yeah, this is a downtrend. There's no doubt about that. So I'm not teaching thorough technical analysis, but this is a downtrend. Looking at the chart, you have a higher high, higher low, and all of that. So, but the market tried to break up, right? And now there are two things I do on my U trading boat. First, I can do short trade. Second, I can do long trade. So meaning I probably look at what I want to check out, for instance, is that I come back here. Remember, I said the best and simplest way to trade for beginner is to learn support and resistance, which is purely price action, right? So I want to just get some key important area that I envisage that the market will actually navigate to for the week. So this is the bottom. And then I have some other key levels that I could just mark. Yeah, you want to learn more about those things. Of course, you can enroll for Plan B Academy. And so you can learn strategy, purely strategy. So I'm just picking all of those points now to, yeah. So now when we send you a signal, or even we just send you a signal, probably you want to start your U trading boat. Of course, we'll send signal, right? So here we go. So the first thing I just want to do, I want to look at the market and then overview of the market. Where is the market going to go? Right. So imagine from the beginning of the day and look at this candle when it begin. Nevertheless, so let's go quickly. So I'm going to go back to 15 minutes to see other sub key levels that the market actually go. Now, another thing you can always do is to put in your session break so that you'll be able to see where the day began, right? And all of that. So, but we're almost late to this, but because of this, I'm going to still enter the market because so we are late. That's just the truth. So, but I'm going to enter the market. So quickly, let me just show you how I go into the market, maybe targeting this key level, right? Or this resistance level, because that is up there. So now let's quickly look at it. Here, I'm going to go to target this. And if you look at it, so if I had come in earlier, then I will have started from here. But nevertheless, if you look at it from here to here, you still say this guy can do about 5%. So I'm going to take one position on not up to 5%. So let's quickly go now. So let's go. I'm going to come into U trading, right? So I go to my platform. I'm going to go to my platform. So let me share my screen, right? So I go to my platform, and then of course I'm going to use this here, not the pro, right? So let's go. This is U trading. You see, I have a running trade. So what am I going to do? I go to trade, right? So please pay attention. I go to trade and I go to DCA futures. So I go to long, right? So I go to long. Now, so sometimes there are some other futures available on DCA Pro, but I just want to use this right now. So I go to long, and then what do I want to expose to the market? So there we go. So if you look at it, I go to long. And which coin am I using? That is SUI. So I could search for SUI, perhaps. So let's search for SUI. Here is SUI. Now I've seen SUI. I want to long SUI. And then I first of all go to my leverage, right? So where's our leverage? We're going to go to our leverage. So let's go to the leverage. Look at the leverage here. I'm sure you can see where the leverage is here, right? So I go to the leverage and I am going to use 20. Okay, let's say I'm going to use 25x or probably 30x, and I'll show you I may not use so much amount of money. So 30x, what I'm using. Then, and I go and what should be my exposure to 30x. So maybe what I want to expose is just $10. No, $10 too much. So let's say $5. Or sometimes you can work with $3. So if it's that, so I'm going to use $3. So let's go quickly. So we'll go to position. So I go to position. So I want to use $3. So which means I'm going to have, since I'm using 30s, to use $3, I'm going to have up to um, $90. So let's use $2. Okay. So that means I'm going to have count up to, okay, so let me have count up to, so this is 12. Okay, this is 1. All right, this is 2, 2.1, 2 point, okay. So this is 2, this is 3. Okay, 69 is still manageable. Okay, so let's go with 69. So I'm going to go just 1. And instead of saying cycle, I'll use single. All right, smart covering. So then what am I going to do here? Maximum order, yes, I can use 2. Multiple size 1, not 1 point something. Price gap, I can use 3 because I want to market if it's crashed down, it should have the second position. With me, I'm invariably going up to $6 or whatever. So then smart covering, I don't want, I put it 0, right? Take profit, I'm going to go to 2% if I had come earlier anyway. So 2%. Trailing profit, no, 0, right? So ceiling, okay. Ceiling, you can leave it that way. So there's no point stopping myself on that. Okay. So I've set all my parameters. So I launch to long, right? So I've launched to long already, even though I'm coming late. Remember, I told you that when I love to set my boat in the morning, right? All right. So beginning of the week and then in the morning. So let me go to the boat. You'll see that the boat's already running. Let's look at this SUI, and I will be in negative. I should be in negative. That's the boat. Network problem. SUI saying error. Okay, I think need to enable this network. Okay. I just hope the trade actually went through. I can't seem to. See SUI. So you can see SUI is already running, right? And we're at about 0.16 or 0. Whatever percent. All right. So here is SUI. So the moment SUI get to 2, if SUI move by 2%, so this is now the calculation. If SUI move by 2%, that is 2 times 30. 2 times 30 would be how much? 2 times 30 would be 60. So that would be 60%, or probably if it's $2, I suppose, and if it's $3, I suppose. So 60% of $2 or 60% of $5. So if your account is reasonable, I always love to, go by $5. And then sometime I use 50x if it's a market that I really have more kind of stuff around it. So I use 50x, and then once the 50x, by the time you do 2%, that's 2%, 2 times 50, it's 100. So that if I put $5, then it will have doubled the $5. But you must be very sure of your setting to actually set up all of this. The second aspect, well, I now have to like set both for another dimension, is that when I come in the week, the beginning of the week, and I see the momentum the market is taking, for instance, And if you look at it, if I come from the beginning of the week, or let's say, yeah, on Monday, so we actually started from 2.1, 2.118 or thereabout. So if I check that and I envisage the direction I want the market to get to, maybe up to 20% for that week and all of that, then instead of doing sweep one, I would do cycle, all right? Once I do cycle, and I will be, of course, okay, so let me just exit here. So that's how to set the boat for this. It's quite simple, and then you don't need to disturb yourself unnecessarily. All right, so let's quickly go back and show you dimension at which why we decide, and that's why we say you need to understand just basic, either you know technical analysis or not. So now looking at the market, for instance, here is the SWI. Remember, I told you I come on a daily time frame. So imagine I come on a daily time frame and I've marked all of these points, right? And I mark all of these points. Let me even go to 4 hours. So now if I have marked all of these points, now look at it. Uh, Monday was yesterday, 21st, all right? And I look at where the market, so, and even if you look at it, those people who have seen when the market crashed down before now, market was down here to 1.7. And if you look at from 1.7 of the market for SUI, now I can be on long, right? If you look at it on long to this point, this is about 40%. If we go back to this 2.8, that's about 62%, right? So if I set long since that time, I will have been on pause or a drawdown. But in that case, when I'm doing a cycle, you don't use high leverage. So, and you don't use too much money. You use the strategy of the DCA Pro, right? DCA Pro meaning I'm going to be using $1, right? So, and then my multiple position will not be too much. Okay. So imagine if I come on time for the day, for instance, look at this where the market started from. This market today has done over 5%, right? So if you go over here, that's about 10%. So I can do cycle, and then once market get up to 2.4, 2.45 or 2.4, yeah, 2.453, I may want to be tempted to stop the boat. But if I see that the breakout of this point and probably going up to this point, right? So if you look at it, going to this point, that's about 27%, then I may still be in the market, especially looking at what the Bitcoin tool has been doing. That means Bitcoin has been much more bullish, right? Remember what we said that Bitcoin was to break out a particular region, which it, I think has broken, and then taking more direction up as it were. Okay, so if you look at Bitcoin from where talk about $73,000, 74,000, so Bitcoin have been consistently on the up move, and so which can now give you an idea of saying, okay, I think I need to just stay put and all of that. So it's the same thing. Now looking at SUI, if you go back to our trade now, if I check it now, will have been in profit. That's what it means, right? Because this is SUI is moving. So now what will happen is that if it's $2 that is exposed to the market or $3, then by the time the market get to 2% move, it will have closed the trade. And that's one of the things that's let me say, you trading board is very, very good if you know what you are doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, it looks so odd. But I think it simplifies a lot of things for us and to maximize the trade. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So support and resistance strategy. And on the same vein, even when and I want to do cycle like I told us, so I can set up. So it will now expose literally two of my phone. Then if I know that the market has a move or to pull back, I can do like two position or three position. That is multiples. So multiples with that will give me what I'm looking for. When it pull back, it add more position. So eventually we'll have just used $2 each move or $3 each move. $3 times three will have given me about $9. So eventually the market click, go up to the expected or go down to the expected level, then you will have been in money. All right. That's the whole thing you're looking at in this. And the moment it closes, you want to see the market changing again. You just go to your U trading and then set up all of those things you want to set up. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that's just the basics about the U trading board and all of that. Remember, the other strategy will say that's the DCA Pro. It's not difficult. I've done a lot of video on that, so you have to go back to watch the videos and all of that. So thank you very much those of you who are just coming in newly. And so when we send signal, you need to look at, oh, where's the range of this market moving from this place to this place? That will make a lot of sense.